Equals. If you've ever heard of the tangerine switches, banana split switches, and so on, Equals is the company that makes those. And they are teaming up with keyboard maker Vertex to create a new brand, TKD. And they are coming in hard out the gate with their first release, which is the Cycle7, which I have here for review. And it is a banger, let me tell you. It's a brand new keyboard going under group buy this Friday, July 21st, and it is probably one of the top contenders now for the budget custom mechanical keyboard market. It's a keyboard that is very exciting for some unique reasons, and it's got some good looks to go with it too. Now, as for the unit I have here, I usually go for like white, blue, or purple keyboards, but I wanted something a little more classy, you know, a little bit more refined. So I went with the anodized Crow version and the PVD gold weight, which is gonna set you back an extra $8. And I have the wired hot swap version of the PCB. The kit includes a case, a carrying case, a plate, a flex cut PCB, a set of Equals V3 stabilizers, gasket strips, gasket beans, which we're gonna get to those in a minute, PE foam, plate foam, case foam, plugs for the PCB cuts, bump-ons for the bottom of the case, a USB-C cable, and a switch puller. My review unit did not include the cable or the switch puller. Your plate options are aluminum, polycarbonate, and FR4. I have the FR4, and it looks really nice. The PCB also has this nice purple color on it. I've seen other colors on their website as well. The case, at least the anodized Crow version, it's a bit of a fingerprint magnet. As for the PVD weight, I mean, forget about it. You touch that thing once, it's done. Mine even came smudged out of the box under the protective plastic. I don't think that's something that's going to happen when you get the final unit. Again, this is a prototype. It does have these nice internal weights that double as battery covers for the wireless version, and you can even swap out this LED badge on the top case. So for this exact configuration you see here, it's going to set you back around $155 before tax and shipping. The TKD Cycle7 starts at $139. Now this is a bare bones kit. If it's not obvious, it doesn't come with switches or keycaps. It's up to you to supply those from wherever you want to get them, but that's to be expected when it comes to custom mechanical keyboards. Now it's $139 for the soldered, wired only anodized version, and it goes up a little bit from there. If you want hot swap, it's $147, and so on. And that pricing is killer for everything that you're getting. Even if you were to kit this thing out, you're still going to spend less than $200 before shipping and tax, and it's an amazing value for a keyboard that looks and feels and types this nice. When I put out my Zoom 75 video a couple months back, I called it a budget keyboard, a budget custom keyboard, and people went off on me saying that it's not budget because it costs almost $200 to start. For a mechanical keyboard that is made of metal with glass and a beautiful weight on the bottom and whatnot, a custom mechanical keyboard that you can get in all kinds of configurations and colors, that is budget. Sorry, it just is. Something that looks like this would have cost easily at least $300 to $400 just a couple years ago, especially if you ask an enthusiast, somebody who normally buys and uses custom keyboards. This is definitely in that budget range. And I haven't even gotten into the new cool stuff, the exciting stuff that makes me happy about this keyboard, but just trust me, it's cool. It's got cool stuff. Now the layout here is technically a 65%, but it's done a little bit differently than most 65%. It's basically a 10 keyless layout without the function row. And it supports a number of layouts when it comes to your bottom row, your right shift, your enter, your caps lock, and so on. Honestly, the way I was able to put together this bottom row layout, I think looks great. But where the board sets itself apart more than just the layout is its ease of assembly. It's very beginner friendly. Frankly, it's very me friendly because I'm still a beginner when it comes to a lot of this stuff. First off, you may notice that there are no screw holes on the outside of the case. That's because to get into the case, there's just no screws. No screw holes. No screws equals no screw holes. Instead, the Cycle7 has an easy assemble structure for quick and easy customization and tinkering and whatnot. The top of the case just pops off like that, and when you're done, you just press it back down into its slots and click, and it locks into place. I absolutely love this. I wish every custom keyboard would have it. Every keyboard in general should have something like this, because screw those screws, man. Let me just yank this thing open and be done. This alone makes the Cycle7 probably my favorite custom keyboard that I've ever used. It was a real son of a gun to take apart and put together the Zoom 75 a couple times that I had to do it, especially because of that little LCD screen in the corner, which is optional, but I chose to use it, and that second ribbon cable was pretty tricky to deal with. So this is a huge breath of fresh air, if you ask me. It stays secure, so you don't have to worry about the top of the case popping off if you move the thing around, unless you yourself don't lock it in properly, in which case, I mean, that's your fault. Just push it in, make sure it's all clicked. But it doesn't stop there, because this keyboard also has two options for gasket mounting. You've got your traditional gasket mount with these gasket sleeves that go over the edges of the plate, and you slot it into the little gasket slots and you're done. If you've built a gasket mount keyboard before, you've probably seen something like this. Or you can use their new gasket beans, as they call them. Just insert each one into one of the holes in the edge of the plate, slot the bottom round part into the holes of the case, close up the board, and that's it. It's going to give you an even more flexible typing experience. On the website it says an interesting typing experience, and I agree, it is interesting. I think it feels great, and I am definitely sticking with the beans on this one. As I mentioned before, this board does include a set of foams. It's got a plate foam, PCB foam, and case foam, and it has these little silicone plugs you can put into the flex cuts of the PCB. Now if you're looking for that marbly sound, like something like this from the Zoom 75, I've heard that if you are looking for something like that, that is something you can do here, depending on what switches you use, and if you're going to be using all the foams in the case, you can do that. I already have that with the Zoom 75, and frankly, I don't want all my keyboards to sound the same. I like my keyboards to sound a little bit different from each other, so I decided to not use any foams at all and see how that sounded. The only exception being the flex cut plugs. For switches, I'm going to use the WS Heavy Tactiles from Wuche Studios, and for keycaps, I wanted a simple and clean white on black setup to again kind of keep the looks refined here. But I was on a bit of a budget, so I went on to mechanicalkeyboards.com where I had some store credit, and I picked up this set from VMK. I will have that linked below, and you can use my code for that or anything you purchase from mechanicalkeyboards.com, and that helps support the channel a little bit so that we can continue funding for further future projects and whatnot. Now these keycaps are double shot, they have a wide range of compatibility and even include some purple accent keys, which is not common on a white on black set, but here we are. I'm not going to use them. I do like these coffee mug novelty keys though. Not the greatest keycap set, sure, but definitely not bad for 45 bucks. Now I'm not going to use all the foams included here because I want to show you just how good this board sounds without any foams. But I am going to do sound tests with and without the case foam. And the PCB cut silicone plugs will be in both sound tests. That sounds great. Very clacky and bright, a huge contrast to that thocky, deeper sound that I've got on the Zoom 75 with linear switches and all the foams. The switches on that Zoom 75, by the way, are also from Wuche Studios. Now if you wanted to get a different sound, a deeper, bassier thock, again, just use maybe linear switches or a lower pitched tactile switch if you prefer tactile, and use the foams, and you're probably going to get a more marbly sound if that's what you're going for. The Cycle7 is, I believe, QMK compatible. It's at least VIA compatible. I've got it working with VIA just fine. I just had to flash the JSON file and it works. Honestly, I really like this keyboard. At that price, even if I wasn't sent one for review, I would definitely look at this as a possible contender for one I'd be willing to buy myself. The color options, the weight options and whatnot are very nice and enticing. That price is just right, and even if you got some budget like Gateron Pro yellow switches and toss those in there with some $30 Amazon keycaps if you wanted to, you probably get some really good sound out of this keyboard. That easy assemble structure is a killer feature that I think a lot more keyboards need to have going forward. I know there's a couple others that have it, but this is my first time ever experiencing it. And honestly, I think it's the way of the future. And especially to be on a keyboard at this price, that's just mind-blowing to me right now. If you want to pick this up, again, group buy starts on Friday the 21st, which is, depending on when I finish this video, is going to be probably like the day after this video goes up. And that's going to be available at clickclack.io. I will have a link in the description. Group buy dates and information and whatnot are going to be on the website, and it has an expected ship time of Q4 2023. That's all the time I got for today. Make sure to like this video if you liked it, leave a comment, tell me what you think about this board if you plan to pick it up, if there's another keyboard that maybe you've got your eye on or that you've used that may be similar to this. Anything you want to say, just be nice about it and leave a comment, and subscribe if you're new. Make sure to watch another video if you feel so inclined. I'm out.